The crypto bros are all sad. They're depressed. They're down bad, but not the best ball bros. You want to know why? Because we're drafting teams in May without a care in the world. I'm Peter Overzet, and this is Best Ball Breakfast.
Bro, I'm telling you, hop in these drafts when these idiot streamers are trying to draft and talk to the chat at the same time. It's so plus EV, bro.
Oh no, I think I accidentally just took Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs. What do we call that? A no-no.
No way, you don't have to set your lineup. That's incredible. And recently eclipsed 23%, and I'd much prefer it to be in the more 21 to 22% range.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. This is, I need like a splash filter or something. Just splashing everywhere just for the bit. I pour coffee for the ASMR bit, and then I get coffee everywhere. You get a windscreen for your mic. I need a coffee splatter screen. Goodness. Good morning. Good morning. How are we all doing? Best Ball Breakfast. It is Monday. Hope everyone had a lovely weekend. It was epic, Casey. It was so epic that I spilled everywhere. How are we doing? GM, Alex, GM, Nez, GM. I knew you'd like that, Casey. A nice, strong, powerful stream. Both the pour and the quality of this stream are strong. This morning, we are going to hop into a Best Ball Mania 3 draft, as we are going to do here every Monday morning throughout the offseason. Looks like we're up to what? 15,300 entrants already in this bad boy. You guys are sick. I know. Who was it? Was it Bullock? I think it was Bullock who said he was already up to like 27 teams. Absolutely sick. I've said it. I'm trying to keep my composure, waiting for the NFL schedule release. I'm excited to see that. Got to make sure I'm getting my week 17 stacks. I did do another stairmaster draft on Sunday. Man, I was cooking up a nice one too. I had Lamar Jackson early. I got Bateman, and then, I wasn't using my queue too frequently, but I went ahead and tossed Tylan Wallace into my queue. I was listening to Stealing Signals, and Ben and Sean were pumping Tylan Wallace's bag, so I tossed him in my queue. Well, I was in like the 11th round in my app, auto refreshed, and look, I don't want to throw underdog under the bus, but I just don't want the people out there thinking that I'm drafting, Tylan Wallace in the 10th round. Okay. I can't have that. So I did complete the stack about 100 picks ahead of ADP. That's just sometimes how it goes. The saying used to be, you got to get in the drafts with the idiot streamers. Now you need to get in the drafts with the idiot cardio bros on the Stairmaster. That's where the new EV is at. All right, let's hop into this. Friends and family draft, I assume. Looks like we got 7, 8 more spots. So all of you watching will be able to get in here. Oh, no, Sean. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Sean tested positive for COVID this morning. Thanks for the entertainment, Pete. I will do my best. I cannot promise you the level of entertainment that Chris Spags and I provided on Friday on Splash Play. I highly recommend going back and watching that draft. If you missed it, it's on my channel. We hopped in a Best Ball Mania 3 draft. I famously have told Spags that I can't be wasting 150 of any of my 150 bullets on teams I draft with him, because he makes me draft too many dusty players. So, of course, I gave him the keys to the castle. He had to do the StreamYard screen share, and he couldn't even adjust the browser window. I tilted. I lost my mind. I made him send me his login, his password, and I eventually commandeered the stream and was able to draft successfully with appropriate browser height on my computer using his account. Absolute shit show. Him making me, pushing his Drew Lock agenda on me. I think he's going to make me draft a team with him later this afternoon. So if you're looking to get double the best ball drafts today, you can get best ball breakfast in the morning and then splash play in the afternoon. We'll fire that up around 2:30 Eastern. Yeah, exactly. This is how you size a browser window right here. Look at how, actually, am I even leaving a little meat? Oh yeah, I left a little meat. Now it's perfect. Oh baby, look at that browser window. Now we're cooking. Top Stats going to try a Stairmaster draft. I have one at my apartment now. They're the best. It's an absolute hack. You can just have 45 minutes evaporate in no time. I recommend throwing on a podcast. You're drafting, you're sweating. And I'll tease here. I've been cooking up a little idea with Nick Redman over at Underdog. The Stairmaster Cardio Bros. We're going to have something for you guys soon. So keep an eye out for that. It is going to be sweat summer here at Underdog and Peter Overzet headquarters. I am on the clock here at 1:08. This for me has been prime Travis Kelce territory. Let's give that a crack here. We're gonna go with Kelce here at 1:08. If you guys, I believe, yeah, my video hadn't come out last week when we did Best Ball Breakfast. I think it came out later in the week. If you guys hadn't seen that video, that's over on my new channel. So I created a new channel. It's called Peter Overzet's Deposit Kingdom. The thesis behind that channel is that it's for non-live stream. So I've been working on some more pre-produced, written, scripted, very tightly edited videos. And I did one on zero RB, anchor RB, and hyperfragile RB, looking through what I consider and the data considers to be the three dominant structures, specifically for winning tournaments. And I think you guys would all enjoy that video. I linked to it down below and would love if you guys subscribe to that channel. I'm going to be working on some other best ball videos with Michael Dubner from RotoViz. We're working on a couple more down the pipeline that I think you guys are going to enjoy as well. But that reminded me too, there was a great article on RotoViz over the weekend by Blair Andrews looking at how important tight end strategy is for advancement rates in these big large field tournaments, how dominant two tight end builds have been. And obviously for unlocking successful two tight ends, it's generally taking them earlier. So most of my early Best Ball Mania drafts, I've done an elite tight end, and I find it to be a little easy right now just because I do consider Hawkinson one of the elite tight ends, and he's really cheap right now. And I've even pushed it. I think I have a team going right now where I have, Dalton Schultz and Irv Smith as my two tight end build. So even if I don't get the, perfectly elite one, I'm still willing to roll with two, just knowing how valuable those spots are at non-onesie positions. What are we going to do here? We're going to take a wide receiver of some sort. Looking at these ADPs here, I guess Debo or Tyreek. Let's take Debo. I don't think I have too many shares of Debo here earlier. Let's see here. You prefer couch and chips best ball drafts. We don't eat junk food. We best ball drafts for breakfast. 0 calories, 18 rounds. It's all you need. Appreciate that, Dale. I appreciate that. Neil says, how are you handling the suspension uncertainty of some of the players around here like Kamara and Cook? Yeah, so I did just pass right over them. I think I do have a price for those guys. I do think if they slip into the third round, I'm definitely willing to pull the trigger on it. But man, like there's other backs here that I think have similar upside without as much risk as those guys. It is tough to pull the trigger early on, especially if we do get, if you think about when the suspensions do come down, we're going to get a much bigger ADP dip. They're still very conducive for Best Ball Mania, the way the tournament structure works, where all we need, you could survive a 6 suspension from Alvin Kamara if he's putting up a couple 40-point weeks during the fantasy playoffs. So I do think they still should be part of your portfolio. They still should be part of your strategy. But I guess right now I'm feeling like the risk reward is already kind of baked in at that ADP. And I'd be more willing to let any suspension news hit and then buy that dip. Or the suspension news gets cleared up and then I just pay a slight more premium. They're still probably going mid to late round 1, maybe at the 1-2 turn. People just don't seem excited about those guys in general, even outside of the suspension stuff. So I don't know if where they're going right now. Sorry, I forgot to go to my board. I mean, Dalvin Cook's still going middle of the second round, Kamara mid to late second. I don't feel like you're actually getting that much suspension discount baked into that. Paul's taking a chance on those breakout tight ends. Yeah, tight end, it's always tight end is always such a trap because I feel like we love those names, after round 10 more than what their production ever lives up to. I'm thinking about the guys like Alberto and Noah Fant and Gesicki, all these guys that are talented, athletic tight ends, but it's still so hard for the tight ends to separate. And I think at the end of the day, we're still looking at a short list. But as we can see here, I mean, I think George Kittle is still too cheap relative to what he can offer in his, 90th plus percentile outcomes. And that is actually probably the one case against drafting Kelsey where I did, just knowing, hey, you can get Pitts or Kittle in round 3, Waller slipping to round 4 a bit here. All right, I'm going to try something different. I have not grabbed a share of Saquon yet. I'm going to go ahead and build a little anchor RB out of the 3rd round here after getting my elite wide receiver and elite tight end. Always feels gross, but we'll take a shot on Saquon. It feels like things could turn around for the Giants this year, right? I saw Leone pumping Kenny Galladay's bags on Twitter. I think there's a lot of enthusiasm for what Daboll could do for this offense. Maybe we get a return to form for Saquon here. It's honestly one of those picks that I have to force myself to make. Like if I just go in full on Pete autopilot, I will probably have like 1% Saquon. But pushing myself out of my comfort zone here. And again, one of the things like the next frontier that I love discussing, and we talked about this a lot on Ship Chasing last year, is taking these structures that work, the 0 RB, anchor RB, hyper fragile, and bending them in ways that are less intuitive. And so taking your anchor RB, even though the win rates clearly show getting your anchor RB in rounds 1 or 2 is the dominant strategy. Well, can Saquon deliver a top 5 running back performance? I think so. I think that in his best case scenarios, that's definitely possible. And then you're getting that anchor running back at 3-8, pick 32. And then it allows you to flip the build, still get you access to some of those other players. I know I think it was Hayden was talking about this year, just looking at the pockets of ADP and how going elite wide receiver in round 1, just because there's so few of them, with all the question marks around Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, et cetera, like getting the Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, and then grabbing your anchor running back in round 2 or 3. It's the same concepts. We're just fudging it in the really color between the lines way that we've normally thought about those structural strategies. And that's kind of what's really fun for me with these best ball drafts. Looks like we are in prime wide receiver territory here at pick 40. Man, Amari is the highest in ADP. Actually, Metcalf is the highest in ADP. I got the ETR ranks in here with Judy up top. Let's go ahead and grab Judy. Redmond says, Saquon as an anchor, maybe for your finishing position. Yes, I'm sinking all the way to the bottom of the ocean with Saquon Barkley. What do we call this structure? The modified delayed anchor RB strategy? Yes. I really do think you could create a successful Twitter account that just exclusively spent all day talking about various naming conventions for structural draft strategies. The engagement you could get from that alone. So if any of you are a burgeoning best ball thought leader and you want to send your account into the stratosphere, come up with, this is your bit. I will literally tell you how to make a successful Twitter account right now. You tell people to send you their screenshots of their drafts and you quote retweet it with the name of the strategy they just employed. You'll have 5,000 followers by the end of the summer. I'm giving away the goods right now. There's your idea. One of you spin it up. What's the latest on Godwin? I passed on him there. Obviously, Do we have any of our Twitter doctors who know how his rehab's going, when we can expect him back? That's a leak in my early game right now. I don't have good feels for Godwin, for Michael Gallup. I guess we can start to toss like Jamison Williams into the mix there a little bit, although he's been a little bit more under the microscope. Does anyone have some strong takes on when they think we're going to be able to get early season production from some of these guys coming back from injury? Nez says, I can't do Amari in the 40s. I know. I passed on that there too. It seems like there's still a wide receiver domino to fall there in Cleveland, right? Whether it's Fuller, whether it's Landry, whether it's Julio. We're actually in the Fantasy Life newsletter today looking at the ideal landing spots for 3 of those guys. If you guys haven't signed up for the Fantasy Life newsletter, we've really been beefing it up this offseason. I think you guys would enjoy it. I have a link down the below, free to subscribe. Drops Mondays and Thursdays right now. We're going to be ramping it up going forward. Round 18, Jimmy to stack with Debo. Yeah, that is kind of the tough thing of how. See, this is where you get in a weird spot with Debo, right? Because I don't necessarily want to pay the Trey Lance price tag with how much uncertainty there is. On the other hand, I'm probably done with my QBs by the time I grab Jimmy. I'd still prefer to have a couple rock a 2 QB build, where Jimmy is clearly a 3 QB build type quarterback. He's your third quarterback in that. So I don't love that. All right. I am going to take Breece Hall is just one of those guys that I do really think once we get training camp, once we start to get the news, him and, pads breaking off long tackles, I think he's going to be like a late 3rd round pick here by the end of the summer. So I'll grab Breece Hall at pick 56. I think he's set up to have, I know he's not Jonathan Taylor as a prospect. I get that, but I can see the trajectory of his season being kind of similar to Jonathan Taylor's rookie season, where he's not getting every touch at the start, but he's flashing big playmaking ability. And as the season progresses, his role really expands in a meaningful way, to the point where the team says, all right, we can't be having him cede touches to Michael Carter anymore. We need to feed our big dog here. So, I love drafting these rookies, especially the elite ones. And I just have a hard time envisioning Breece Hall's ADP dropping from here. I mean, this is where Javonte Williams and Travis Etienne were going last year, right? Like late 5th round. And Breece Hall is a better prospect than those guys, and had, and I think probably a better landing spot. So I'm excited about Breece Hall. I'm going to keep grabbing him here in the late 5th. When I can. Yeah, that's my thesis too. It's like you can hold on a bit. And now where my idea for naming these structures? Now we might be pivoting to a modified hyperfragile strategy. Although I don't know if there's a running back. I feel maybe we could do that. Should we do this? Let's do a modified hyperfragile strategy with ETN. Making sure, yeah, we're going to give this a shot. So we have our 3 earliest running backs. I'm going to probably only add, actually, I'm probably going to definitely only add a 4th running back to this build. And this is where I like really feeling out the structure. So say if you did traditional hyperfragile, right, where you bang running back 1, 2, 3 in your first 3 round picks, I think then you really push it and grab your 4th running back, pretty late, 13th, 14th, 15th round. Now with this modified hyperfragile, maybe I grab my 4th running back a little earlier than that. Maybe I'm grabbing it in the 10th, 11th, 12th, just because there's slightly more uncertainty with these profiles compared to the profiles you would get in the first 3 rounds. And that's the stuff I'm talking about, like trying to push yourself at, you know the rules to the structures, and how can you accomplish that in creative ways, not within the rigid confines of the normal ways we draft those structures. That's exactly who I was thinking of. Spoiler alert, Ronald Jones. Gonna have a scheduled deep dive on Friday. That would be a good idea I think for us to do on Splash Play on Friday. Let me talk to Spags about that, but I think that's a good idea. And it's going to be very fun. I can't wait to see what is our generation's Dallas Cowboys versus Arizona Cardinals in week 17, our generation's Bengals versus Chiefs. You're going to see some ADP moves. The whole week 17 stacking thing is so far out of the bag. Last year, I don't know if it necessarily moved ADPs. I have a feeling with how big the best ball industrial complex is now, that we'll see some movement based on those week 17 stacks. So yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that this week and in the coming weeks, I'm sure. Yeah, that is Nick saying I'm fearlessly staring down that avalanche. I guess I did start to discount where are my names in here? Who do I see? We see King Coakley. We see Tanner Shuby, Casey, Gnarly, Nick. Yeah, I recognize most of these names. I guess it's a fairly friends and family draft where I should be worrying about the wide receiver avalanche. I don't think I would have. ETN is really the only other back there that I feel comfortable, that I do think, my thesis with ETN is that he can have a DeAndre Swift type season where he's, undervalued by 2-3 rounds at this price. I don't think I go with my modified hyper fragile here if ETN isn't the pick. So let's check out what we are going to do here. Joe Burrow goes. Let's see what King Coakley does. I think I'm going to go ahead and get my elite quarterback with Wilson. We took an early-ish pick on Jerry Jeudy. Like I said, I've been feeling very, very comfortable with my 2 QB and 2 tight end builds. With Russ and with Kelsey here, I'm certainly set up to have 2 players at those onesie positions, which is going to give me some more space to grab an extra wide receiver as I combat the wide receiver avalanche. Sorry, guys, I can't put that close to the mic anymore and let you get that sweet, sweet ASMR. I made a mess earlier. Bullock says, interested to see where Deshaun goes all summer. Started around pick 80, been seeing him at 110 now. Yeah, that's what's so fun, too, about drafting, continuously throughout the summer, is getting to play those market adjustments. And it really is easier with the Best Ball Mania 3 tournament format to justify all of these guys that are staring down the suspension barrel. Just knowing that if you draft another elite QB early, say you get a Jalen Hurts and you pair him with Deshaun Watson, you can probably survive on Jalen early and then have your team supercharged for the playoffs when Watson returns. So I need to be thinking about those guys a little bit more seriously. Let's see what we are going to do here at 8-5. No tight ends I need to take in this build. No quarterbacks I need to take at this juncture. I am good on running back. So we are firmly in the wide receiver camp right here. Let's see what Tanner does. I was going to take Garrett Wilson and he took Garrett Wilson. That is just how it goes sometimes. Let's go ahead and get our naked Chiefs stack with Sky Moore, I suppose. Just looking at these ADPs. Should I roll the clip? I'm going to head over to Ship Chasing and roll the clip.
Sky Moore, 2 Ys.
It's the fucking sickest name I've ever seen for a wide receiver in my goddamn life. Sky's up!
Oh, let's go.
What could possibly go wrong? Getting my Sky Moore exposure here early at pick 89 before he's going pick 70 the rest of the summer. I believe last week what did we do last week on Ship Chasing? We did a rookie draft because Pat Crane was like, it's going to be hot best ball summer the entire summer. Can we have one godforsaken week for the Dynasty Bros? So we did do a Dynasty mock draft with Blair Andrews, but I believe on Wednesday, we will not be able to resist hopping in a Best Ball Mania draft. Mm. Siegel's come around. Siegel, was shitting on our Skymore highlight tape live on stream on ship chasing, and then Sky landed on his beloved Chiefs, and he was sucked right back in. I did see that he had an injury. Luckily, when you're drafting teams in May, you have what? June, July, August. You have 4 fucking months to get better. Let's see. What kind of constructions are people rocking this morning? So we have Gnarly there out of the 2-hole rocking a very, very classic anchor running back, Christian McCaffrey, and then just pissing the hell out of yellow. Radio with a double anchor RB there and grabbing the elite quarterback. Ooh, I like that double tap, the Dak Dalton Schultz. Tracy going with the more high T start. Henry, Kamara, Pitts, Mahomes, but does get the Juju stack. Neil going with the 2 wide receivers and then coming back around to Javonte and Dobbins. I like that. Big Poppy, Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, Leonard Ford net modified. Anchor running back. King Coakley going with the true hyper fragile build. 3 running backs and then ripping off. Interesting here, taking AJ Dillon after that 3. This is a high T running back start from Rob. Eckler, Cook, Chubb, and Dillon. Tanner, double anchor running back at the start, adds in Ezekiel Elliott. This is kind of the strategy from Shuby that Hayden was talking about too, with kind of the anchor wide receiver. You grab Diggs, you go and you grab 2 guys with bell cow upside in Mixon and Connor, and then you go back to a traditional anchor build, get your elite quarterback, round out wide receiver there. All right, I am back on the clock. We are still in the market for wide receivers, and I'm going to go ahead and grab another favorite of mine. It's like, could I draft Robert Woods? Sure. He has the highest ADP of these guys, but is that any fun? No. This is what I decided I'm going to do this year. I'm going to draft by my heart and by my gut. And then, come June, when I see that I have like 2% Robert Woods and 40% Rondell Moore, I'll be like, all right, now I can start taking some Robert Woods at this point. But for now, I get to throw out all portfolio balance concerns because this is only like my 6th draft. Let's see here. I'll have to think what I want to do with my QB2 because I definitely would prefer to stay with a 2 QB build here. Much, much less worried about tight end, but I should probably think through my 2 QB situation here. Yeah, so Michael Dubner, who, like I mentioned, has been helping me out with some of these best ball videos, also has this terrific best ball tracker, and he has one that has all of my streams on it. So he has best ball breakfast, splash play, and ship chasing drafts all in his best ball tracker. I believe I pinned it in the ship chasing Discord and the Deposit Kingdom Discord. I need to retweet it, find it on Twitter and retweet it as well. But check out Michael Dubner's stuff, doing awesome work over there. Should I take Deshaun Watson? Should I take Deshaun Watson as my 2nd quarterback? I think I might. I think I might do it. Who was it that said they thought Watson might get suspended for the full season? I could also wait on Lawrence with Trevor Lawrence. I do have ETN. What's the wide receiver stuff looking like right now? It's definitely getting gross. It is definitely getting gross. I don't feel like I absolutely have to take a wide receiver here. Yeah, let's do Deshaun Watson. This kind of goes back to the example I was using with Jalen Hurts and Watson. Let Russell Wilson cook early on. I know someone said too, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Deshaun Watson got suspended for the whole year. I honestly wouldn't be surprised by that either. And I think it's kind of illustrative to how you need to think about your bullets in this tournament, where it's like, if you avoid every downside scenario of like, okay, DeAndre Hopkins, he's suspended, or Michael Gallup never gets caught up to speed, or what, like if you draft with that in mind, all you're going to do is draft safe teams, and you're going to draft very high floor safe teams that likely don't have the firepower or upside to win a 450,000 person tournament. So in the same way with poker, right, of just making the optimal aggressive decisions and not playing scared, knowing that you got to run up a big stack to have a chance to win. I think that's how you should think about these bullets, because you're able to poke holes in a lot of these player profiles. But if you're thinking through the prism of 90th plus percentile outcomes, which Watson certainly has one of those, then I think you can be more aggressive with your builds. And so an example of that would be like not taking a third quarterback with a Wilson and Watson, because I think the instinct or the reflex would be, oh, I want a safety blanket for while Watson is out. But I believe we are just going to rock a 2 QB build here. Panic picking Kirk Cousins feels good. No one sets out to draft Kirk Cousins. I believe that's just redundant. He is only panic picked. Yes, Nez talking about my potential stack options down there as well. This is what I was talking about too with this wasteland at tight end, or not wasteland, I should say, just like a super flat tier of tight end twos. What do we want to do here? I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my fourth running back, and then I'm going to be done. I talked about not kicking it too far down the road. I really like Rachaad White. I've been targeting him in a lot of these early drafts. I am going to add him as my fourth running back and then be done with running back. So I'm now done with quarterback. I'm now done with running back, and we will be focusing on wide receiver and tight end the rest of the way. I forgot about this. The bye week bros right now, they're just laying in the shadows, hiding amid the tall grass, waiting to come out and shame our screenshots. Well, actually, you have 4 guys who all have a week 7 bye. Did you think about that before you drafted them? I've missed the bye week, guys. I have missed them. Yep. I mean, one of the things Jake says here, Barkley and ETN as 2 of 4 of your running backs scare me, but that's the BBM winning upside you're talking about. Yeah, like one of my, actually, I need to make a pick here. I need to make a pick. Man, I've been drafting a lot. I've been drafting a lot of DJ Chark. You know what? Did someone take Albert O from me? Damn it, Shuby. I was going to take Albert O there for my stack. I'm going to grab DJ Chark. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I mean, this was kind of like my big takeaway from working on that video was needing to be uncomfortable with your running backs, basically regardless of the structure. Because in hyper fragile builds, you're uncomfortable with the quantity of the running backs you have. I'm only going to have 4 in this build. In anchor running backs and in zero running backs, you're uncomfortable with the quality of them, because an anchor running back, you're not taking your second running back until after round 7 or 8. In zero RB, you're not taking your first running back until after round 5. You are going to have to be uncomfortable with the quality or the quantity of the running backs. If you feel so cozy about your running backs, you probably took too many. May 12th, the bye week bro Christmas. Do you think they get out their pens and papers? You know, like the guys that go to the baseball game and keep score on their own notepad. The bye week bros filling in their bye weeks on the teams they've already drafted. Or would a bye week bro? No, a bye week bro would not draft until after the schedule is released. Too much uncertainty. That'd be a good video. Bye week bro drafts his one team. He's just like, I'm fiending for it. I need to draft one team. I know it breaks all the rules. It's against my religion as a best ball or as a bye week bro to draft before the schedule is released. They draft one team, just like 9 week 10 buys. They're distraught. This is why I don't do that. I should have, I should have taken David Bell. He must have been low in these ETR rankings there because I did not see him. What was his ADP in here? David Bell, ADP 153. Yeah, I should have taken him. All right, so because I got cucked on that other stack, and it looks like Njoku is the highest tight end ADP available, I'm going to go ahead and get him for my Watson Njoku late season hammer. I can be done at tight end now as well. This is now officially, as the Lord intended, a pissing yellow stream the rest of the way out. You can try to snipe me, but I'm just going back to the wide receiver well, baby. Jason says, best time to buy lotion and tissue stock is week before the NFL schedule is released. Bye week bros getting all worked up. The supply chain has been struggling to get lotion and tissue out because of the bye week bros. Top Stat says Aaron Rodgers ADP will move by 0.1 after bye week, and that's why we wait, boys. Buy the Dipperino. Slurp up the Dipperino, bro, chachos. Man, it is depressing on crypto and NFT Twitter right now. It's a nice thing that we've carved out this safe space for us to all enjoy ourselves. All right. All of these wide receivers now are in just full dust ball territory, so I refuse to escape this draft without my Deshaun Watson double stack. So DPJ, come on down. Come on down. Late? No, right now. Right now. I mean, it's one of those things. It's really a Marie Kondo situation, right? Where it's just like, sure, could I grab Sammy Watkins because he has a slightly higher ADP or something and see if DPJ falls to me one round later? Sure. But will that bring me joy? If Rob snipes me on Donovan Peoples-Jones coming back around, I will be tilted. So I decided in that moment, drafting DPJ right now brings me joy. And that's what we all need in our lives right now, is joy. Do you think Landry gets signed somewhere? For sure. For sure. Like I said in the Fantasy Life newsletter today, we looked at, potential landing spots. I mean, the Ravens seem like such a good fit for a deep threat. I forget I floated that take to someone and they're like, who was it? Someone didn't like the Fuller fit on the Ravens, which I thought was a crazy take. Landry, I mean, could you add Landry to like the Packers? I mean, Landry on the Packers seems like he could be a better version of what they wanted Watkins to be. But yeah, I definitely think Landry gets signed somewhere. Sorry, is that not Rob Coakley? I just thought it was. I thought it was King Co. I thought that was Rob Coakley. Or is that not his username? JW says, I hope Venus Jones, isn't it Velas? Velas Jones brings Justin Fields joy somehow. There were some bullish quotes from the organization about Velas Jones this morning, or maybe it was yesterday. Yeah, I mean, this is what we need. We need Fuller to Green Bay or Baltimore. Historical Anomaly says Athletic this morning sounds like Landry to the Ravens. I don't love that quite as much. Just because I feel like they have the short and intermediate areas of the field already covered, with Bateman, with Andrews. I'd love to see them fill that deep threat area that they lost with Marquise Brown. I mean, Fuller just seems perfect, but yeah, they need weapons, and I can see Landry. Landry feels like a quintessential Raven too, right? It's kind of like your our generation's Anquan Bolden at this point. They must, TubeSock says, with the Ravens like Proche, Duvernay. I mentioned Tylan Wallace earlier. That they must feel pretty bullish on those guys as deep threats. All right, we are back up here. Similar to my other, Josh mentioned this earlier. I think Josh called this in the chat. Where's his chat? Yeah. KJ Hamler, another guy where I just want to get my stack with Russell Wilson. I now have my double stack here. KJ Hamler. I love KJ Hamler this year. KJ Hamler has been like a trendy late round pick now. I feel like 3 years in a row. Justin, won the inaugural Best Ball Mania with a KJ Hamler spike week when he was a rookie. I thought Hamler was one of the better late round picks last year, and now he gets a quarterback upgrade and Russell Wilson. Happy to add KJ Hamler here, even if it is ahead of ADP, because it brings me joy to have an excuse to reach on KJ Hamler. As FF Doom says, always KJ. Julio to the Colts, I could see that one. I feel like that would be a good fit. I mean, they draft Alec Pierce. Nobody seems too excited about him, but yeah, they could definitely use another guy here. Oh my God. Am I going to draft LaVisca? I think we're going to draft LaVisca. I'm a caricature of myself at this point. I'm an absolute caricature of myself. And yet I can't fucking help it. Yes, we will roll the clip. God damn it. Unbelievable. The day you guys stop loving the clip is the day I'll stop feeling a tiebreaker incentive to draft Sky Moore and LaVisca Chenault. 2 clips, 1 draft. Roll the clip. Hey, don't say I only have a few bits. Here's the thing. I'm a man of many bits. I'm a man of just a few clips, though. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to build out my personal brand around more player clips, so we're not always funneled into drafting the same guys. I would like to see the R-square correlation between my exposures and players I have clips on. There's a very strong correlation, I would guess. Yeah, that's a fair point by Ryan here. Definitely possible that we as a committee like Hamler more than the Broncos do, given the contract they gave to Patrick. Yeah, I think that's completely fair. The Broncos definitely love Patrick too, and Patrick's rock solid. Hamler is just the quintessential better in best ball bro pick here. Who am I going to add? Who do I want to add? I've been drafting. These picks are no fun whatsoever. Why don't we add another giant here? We grabbed Saquon. Darius Slayton is essentially the KJ Hamler on the Giants. Another guy that I've always loved his profile. And who knows? Maybe this offense takes some leaps this year and Slayton gets a few shots. But yeah, going back to the Hamler thing too. I mean, it's obviously a cliche. It's obviously overused at this point, the better in best ball thing. But Hamler is that kind of guy. Like I look at Randall Cobb, who is Randall Cobb here, Zay Jones, of like, Can Randall Cobb give you a 12 to 13 point week? Sure. But does Randall Cobb at this stage of his career have the ability to get loose for 2 long touchdowns in a game? I don't think so. Whereas KJ Hamler does. So in this kind of hyper fragile build right now, looks like I'm headed toward a 2-4-10-2. I love kind of stacking the back end of my roster with these guys that have the single week upside to get into your starting lineup. And that's a different calculus than when you're in a 0 RB build, right? Because sometimes in those 0 RB builds, you just need production. And that's why I'll gravitate to some of these guys who will have a pass catching role, like a Nyheim Hines. I've been sprinkling in Khalil Herbert, who I think is going to catch some more balls. Whereas with wide receiver, it's much harder now to find the wide receiver breakouts, like the pure breakouts, because all of the rookie wide receivers, the secrets out of the bag, they're going so high. So it's not like you can find wide receiver breakouts quite as easily in the late rounds. But what you can find are guys who have the profiles to have big single week spike weeks, like Hamler, like Slayton. I guess Shenault would be me leaving just the smallest, tiniest flicker of a candle on for a breakout now that Urban Meyer is gone. But otherwise, DPJ, Hamler, Slayton, hashtag better in best ball. All right. Who should we draft for my final selection here? One more wide receiver to wrap us up. I've been taking Cedric Wilson a decent amount. I'm trying to think if there's any other team little mini stacks I should be focused on here. Guess we could take Byron Pringle. I'm going to take Pringle. I've been taking a lot of Cedric Wilson. I feel like Pringle and Wilson are similar picks. Pringle wasn't bad last year. With all apologies to Velus Jones, they did basically nothing in the draft. And I think Byron can play a little bit. So we'll go with a Chicago guy here. And now we are wrapped. So this final team, I believe this is the first hyperfragile team I've done in Best Ball Mania 3. We have Russ Wilson and Deshaun Watson at quarterback. We've got our 4 running backs here: Saquon, Breece Hall, Etienne, Rashad White. Lots and lots of uncertainty with this running back core, but definitely can envision the upside scenarios with all of these guys. Wide receiver: Deebo Samuel, Jerry Jeudy, Sky Moore, Rondale Moore, DJ Chark, DPJ, KJ Hamler, Laviska, Darius Slayton, Byron Pringle. Definitely like the looks of this. And this is one of the things I love about the modified hyperfragile is you still get, when I think of kind of the wide receivers that have the chance to put up 40 points in a week, it's really hard to get those guys in hyperfragile builds. And that's why it's really nice to grab at least one elite wide receiver early. In my case, I got Kelsey and Deebo Samuel there, but knowing that you still have that really important upside from your early wide receiver picks in conjunction with the hyperfragile build. I definitely like how that pans out. And then my tight ends, like I said, Travis Kelce and David Njoku. So we get the Russ double stack with Jerry Jeudy and Hamler. We get the Watson double stack here with Njoku and DPJ. Have some mini stacks here. Sky Moore and Travis Kelce, Darius Slayton and Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne and Laviska Shenault. So this is, I like how this team turned out overall. It accomplishes a lot of the things that I like to do when drafting these teams. And let me see get this named here. That's my big resolution this year, is to keep my naming conventions updated so I don't get behind. My 4th BBM draft. This is Best Ball Breakfast. This is a 2-4-10-2 with Denver and Cleveland. There we go. 4 in the books. I got a couple slow drafts going on right now, but we're gonna start ramping up our best ball drafts here once we get the schedule released. Me and the best ball or the bye week bros getting our tissues and lotion ready. Like I said, I will be back later today for Splash Play. I believe Spags and I are going to draft another team if you guys want to come hang and snipe and kick off wide receiver avalanches with us. If for some reason you've made it this far in the video, if for some reason you've never played on Underdog, God bless your soul, you are in for a treat. They will match your deposit up to $100 with promo code Pete. I think that's it. What else? Any other plugs from Pete? I have been putting, I knocked off the dust on the In a Vacuum podcast feed. So I can't imagine that listening to these without the screen share is that interesting, but some people ask for them. So if you prefer to consume your best ball breakfast in audio format, you can subscribe down below to the In a Vacuum podcast feed. Logan is hungry for some best ball. Good morning, Logan. We're just wrapping up, but the playback is just as good. It's just as good. Let's see the slow drafts. I'll show you the slow drafts later when you're ready, when you're old enough, when you're ready for that conversation. Thank you, KZ. Thank you to you guys. Love doing this show on Mondays. I'll be back later this afternoon. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.